So first I'd like to thank everyone who has joined us today. Really appreciate all your support. Can everyone hear me okay, first of all? Is it loud? Yes, okay. So first of all, I'm just going to go through a few housekeeping rules. Please make sure that you keep all rubbish on you or in bins. Not that there's any bins around, but please make sure you don't leave any litter. If there is anyone's got any lost children, please bring them to the front. As always, we may get some opposition and confrontation. If there is any heated debates, please come to one of the stewards. The stewards are all around here in yellow vests, so thank you so much to the stewards. And if you have any queries at all, we will be speaking people individually later. So if you've got any questions, please come to a member of PCP Wales after the protest. We've got some fantastic speakers today. We will be lasting approximately 2 hours. So after 3:30, you'll have plenty of opportunity to speak to a member of the team. So first of all, let me introduce who Child Protection Wales is. We started this organisation back in September 2020. We started this because of all the failures in the welfare and the education system. On learning what we're bringing into the schools, comprehensive sexuality education, sometimes known as relationship and sexuality education, and SRE in England. We all 4 governments signed up to the same education, and that is from the World Health Organization back in March 2017. Boo indeed, this document is absolutely disgusting, and anybody that has seen the matrix in what they think that children should be learning from age 0 will be absolutely horrified. This education is inappropriate and it is full of indoctrination. We say education, not indoctrination. Woo! So today we've got a handful of fantastic speakers. They all come from all walks of life. We may not agree with every single thing that they do with their lives, the exposure they put out there, but we've got one common goal, and that common goal is the protection of children. The protection of children is the most important thing in the world right now. Without childhood innocence, where would we be? Where would we be? Now, before I start, I just want to do a chant that we often do at our protest, so I'd love it if you would join in. I'm going to say each sentence first, so please then repeat after me. I'm using my phone because I'm very forgetful, so I need to read it. Okay. Do you know what's coming to schools?
Do you know what's coming to schools?
Government think we are fools.
Government think we are fools.
Educated from age 3.
Educated from age 3.
Brought to you by Kinsey.
Brought to you by Kinsey.
This education is a concern.
This education is a concern.
Full of stuff kids should not learn.
Full of stuff kids should not learn.
If now we do not stand.
If now we do not stand.
Kids become a global brand.
Kids become a global brand.
Woo! Thank you, everyone. Now, for any of you that don't know, we are leading the fight against RSE in Wales. We facilitated a court case where 5 brave parents took our government to court over this, because in Wales we do not even have an opt-out on the sexuality education. Boo indeed. So the court case happened on the 15th of November. Unfortunately, the court went in the favour of the government. We can see what's going on there. Bit of corruption going on there, I believe. Well, we are now going through an appeal process. This is costing money, so as soon as we decided to put this court case together, we set up a fundraiser. We still need to raise money in order to continue this fight in court. So we have our fundraiser on our website, that's www.publicchildprotectionwales.org. Every little helps, whether you can afford £5, £10, £100, whatever you put in, you are helping us raise awareness. If every single family in Wales gave a pound mind, we would have sorted this ages ago. But unfortunately, awareness and a lot of brainwashing is going on when it comes to the public. So I'm now going to introduce to our very first speaker, and that is Adele Purchase. So can we have a massive hand from Adele Purchase? Woo! Adele has been a long-standing member of Public Child Protection Wales. She's a massive advocate for children, and she now she does work in a school environment. Adele is an amazing researcher. She knows what she's talking about, and she can tell us what is actually going on in the schools today. So another round of applause for Adele. Woo!
Thank you, Lou. Hello, thank you. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit today about the inclusivity and diversity aspect of RSE. For 20 plus years now, I've been working with people with severe learning disabilities, challenging behaviour, non-verbal, deaf, physical disabilities, and disabilities is my passion. I am ADHD myself. I got diagnosed at 38, and I feel very strongly as well about, children with ADHD and, and the treatment that they receive. So for the last 10 years, I've been working with children with disabilities. In the last 5 years, I've been based in schools. I tend to work one-to-one with children who have, additional learning needs. One thing that is massively promoted in school is kindness, inclusivity, and equality. And yet one thing I am seeing a huge lack of in schools is equality and diversity when it comes to children with disabilities. Every school that I've worked in, and because I work around a lot of schools, I get to see schools, and I get to see snippets of them. And all these schools now have wellness areas, nurture areas. And these are all very much LGBT friendly, safe spaces. And I'll just let this gentleman go past a moment. Thank you.
God bless you. Messiah's coming. Hallelujah. 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 God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For Jesus. Yes, he did that for us. Yes. Hallelujah. God bless you.
So, as I was saying, in these schools, all these schools are very full. They have these wellness rooms, these all LGBT friendly, safe spaces. Yet, in every classroom in school, I can guarantee there is one autistic child. I can guarantee there is one child with ADHD. I can guarantee there is one child that is coming from a foster family or a care home environment. And you can guarantee there is a child who is being neglected at home. Now, whether that is through purposeful parental neglect or due to the fact that they are living in poverty and parents are struggling. But yet you don't see any posters for the autistic safe space, for the ADHD safe space. I'm sat in classrooms with boys and girls. I notice it more with the boys in school. I have an autistic child and I have an ADHD child. The autistic child can get up and move around the classroom. They're free to speak, they're free to interrupt. Yet the child with ADHD still has to sit there, still has to be quiet. They're being rude if they interrupt. They are just being naughty. There's still so much misinformation for these children. I am working in schools where they simply don't know what to do with some of these children. Yeah. These children are often labelled naughty. They don't know what to do with them. I've recently worked in a school where they are trying a method of, instead of having these children in the classroom disrupting their class, they've taken each of these children out and put them in a classroom together. These children are running riot around school. We have a big problem. And at the moment, schools are facing a bigger problem because children are taking advantage of this kindness. Children are taking advantage of safe space. And children are taking advantage of certain teachers. I've sat in a classroom, and because the teacher is wearing Ask Me Pronouns badges and her trans badges, I've got the children shouting out, but yes, miss, I identify as a dog though. I don't need to answer this question. They're taking the mick out of the teachers. I've sat in classrooms where you can't even say the word penis because the boys are in fits of giggles. I'm in classrooms where children are talking about porn. I'm in classrooms where boys, particularly boys who are identifying as gay, they are now coming in as much makeup on as the girls. We're facing problems where every day is an argument about school uniforms. We are being told that it's the male teachers that have a problem. Believe you me, I am female and I do not want to walk up the stairs behind half of these girls in school because I do not want to see their butt cheeks. And yet we're saying sexualization isn't a problem. These girls have got mini skirts on, over the knee stockings. They look like the Japanese schoolgirl porn. Schoolgirl, one of the most searched things for in porn. And we're allowing our children to come to school like this. We're talking about inclusivity and equality, but there's certain groups of children who are still not getting any of this. They think if they put on an LGBT poster, somebody with an LGBT flag, but they're sat in a wheelchair, that this is representing people with disabilities, and it is not. School is failing our children. There are far more children in school with disabilities than there are of children who are confused around their gender, around their sex. I am in schools and we have children as young as 10 who are identifying as the opposite sex. This is being encouraged. Many schools, when it comes to support, if you have a child in school who gets a one-to-one support, the chances are they're going to get somebody from an agency. That person in that agency has no experience very often with children with autism, or particularly children with autism which have behavioural needs and support needs as well. And they're losing support after support after support, and they are not progressing in class. School is not designed for each and every children. We're talking about individuality, but we're constantly lumping children into the same groups, the same class. Because I work learning disability, I'm often in the low ability classes. I'm sat in a classroom with deaf children, ADHD children, autistic children, children with various different backgrounds, and not one of them has got the same learning need and learning ability. But yet they are being taught the same way as the mainstream children. This is not okay. This is why we have so much problem in school. It's not because the LGBT children need a safe space and now school's going to be some brilliant safe place. This is not happening. Phones are out of control. Bullying is out of control. Peer-on-peer abuse is out of control. Teachers are not being heard. Pupils are not being heard. This is an agenda. They do not care about the education of your children so long as your children come out of that factory as the good employee that they are being brainwashed to be.
Amen.
the children. We have entrepreneurs. We have brilliant, brilliant young minds in these schools, and they are being crushed. And we got children with disabilities thinking that they can't reach the potential that they are fully able to reach because the teachers and parents are not being supported and not being given the right advice to support these children. That is all I am going to discuss. I just wanted to, thank you, I just wanted to be, and I seriously, if you have a child with disabilities in school, get to that school and ask your school, what are you doing for my child? What are you doing that other children are getting and my child is not? You demand that help. Yes, and children are being penalised, and we will only head the same way as America, and that is your children will start being taken off you, and it'll be whether because you're not sending them to school to be indoctrinated, whether it's because you're not affirming your child during gender confusion. But we as parents are losing our rights in every single aspect. I am not going to bully down on teachers. I see how hard they work. I see how much stress they are under. They cannot manage so many of these classrooms, and it's only getting worse. Good teachers are leaving. And unfortunately, these good teachers are also being poisoned, that we are the enemy. Okay. So I call out to all of you teachers, please stand beside us and look at what's into it. And all parents, please get into those schools and start demanding the right help for your children. Thank you very much, Lou.
Woo! Thank you, Adele. Massive round of applause for Adele. Woo! Amazing. Thank you for those insights, Adele. Really, really appreciate that. So, our next speaker. Is Andy Heasman. He is currently behind me. So for any of you that do not know Andy, I think a lot of you do. For any of you that don't know, Andy has been leading the fight against the CSE in Ireland. He's been an activist since 2017, exposing truths. He's been hounded by the media because he goes against the mainstream media narrative. He travels all over Ireland, raising awareness about the inappropriate literature and the inappropriate books that are in the school libraries and the actual schools and the libraries themselves across Ireland. So without further ado, let's have a massive hand for Andy Heasman. Woo!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And just to start, I'd like to give, if we could give a big round of applause to today is the CPC who are setting up this and bringing every one of us together. Not just across this country, but it's across Ireland as well. And you have been so inspirational to us and helping us, and we're watching and we're learning everything, and we're all growing together in this, which is absolutely amazing. You couldn't buy this kind of unity. We've been divided for so long. It's great to be coming over here and feeling this unity between us all. But we're here for a specific reason. It's the children. And what they're doing now is, and bringing us together by this, is how we get the action on the ground. Now we can go with, they're doing great work in the courts and the high courts and getting their court cases in. But in the meantime, we have a responsibility with the knowledge that we now know, with the books that we know that are going into the libraries, going into the schools, and in Ireland they're being put into the bookshops, into the children's sections all across Ireland. So it's down to us, and what I've been doing across Ireland is we've been setting up teams in each county which are watching the libraries and ready to act and go in and make sure that they're not there. They'll call the guards, make complaints. And if that's not working, they've set up small protests outside, very peaceful, with everything on the boards to bring awareness around to the communities. And this is the kind of action that we're all going to have to do while we're waiting on court dates, because we have the law. All these laws that we are fighting for is specifically put there to stop these from getting at our children. And we have to stand strong in them laws and profess them laws to everybody, so that everybody understands what's going on. Because if you don't know the law, you can be easily deceived. When you know the law, you can hold the law. And that's one of the agendas. They've taken that knowledge away from us. Knowledge is power. And we have that knowledge. Oh, it will come. And it's coming. And it's coming for all of us. In Ireland, we say, you know, you'll never beat the Irish. But let me tell you, you'll never beat the parents. You will never beat the parents. This is the straw that broke the agenda's back. Because every one of you are here for that reason. They've gone too far. They've gone way too far. They can do what they want, but as soon as they come after their children, it's not me, it's the mama bears they got to worry about, like Kimberly and Kat, you know. And they need us men to back them up and protect them. Because that's what we're doing. That's what men are supposed to do, protect our women and our children. And we can do it together. If we all get out and do our little bit, go to the libraries, go to your teachers, go to your principals, go to the shops. If every one of you's that little bit, can you imagine the big bit we'll have done? Can you imagine how we can push them back? We've pushed them back. We've gotten books taken off shelves. They have to rename things in the sex education, and we're not stopping until it's completely gone. God, you know, we're seeing the fruits of the work we're doing. It is picking up serious pace globally. This is breathing a life of its own, because it's the children. The children need us. They need you right now, because if we don't do anything now, in 5-10 years time, can you imagine where the ball is going to drop for the kids? Not on my watch. And I know it's not going to be on yours either. It's not going to be on yours either, you know. So I'm so honoured to have been brought over by CPC today. The networking that's happening, you know, it's unbelievable how this is breathing a life of its own all around Ireland right now, and all around even Wales and London here today, and everybody that's listening. We're getting that truth out every day. As they say, the lie will spin around the world 1,000 times, but the truth is always slow. But let me tell you, the truth is right here, right now, and it's getting around this world. Thank you, everybody, for protecting childhood, for protecting his child, his daughter, his son, because that's what we're doing. We have to make every child our own to protect them. It's not about me, it's about the children. Children first. You know, what our slogan in Dublin is protect childhood. You know, it's that simple, protect childhood. If we can't protect childhood, there's nothing more that we can do. But this is it. It's a good thing. I know it's terrible what's happening, but if they didn't take it so far, it would never stop. They've progressed themselves to come out into the open, so they're easy to expose, very easy, you know, they're giving you the rope. And we've just got to be strong enough, brave enough, know the law, and go after them. And we'll save our children, and we'll save our future, because they are the future. You know, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Garen Gabra, God bless. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you.
Woo! Massive round of applause again for Andy. That was powerful. That was powerful. No wonder the mainstream media don't like you. All right. Thank you. Our next speaker coming on now, and that is the wonderful Laurence Fox. Woo! So for any of you that don't know Laurence, he is a very famous guy, actually an actor, musician, broadcaster and a political activist. He's been the leader of the Reclaim Party since October 2020, and he opposes these woke ideologies. So without further ado, can we have a massive round of applause for Laurence Fox?
Thank you. So good to see people here today. This morning, well no, actually last Wednesday, after asking some very legitimate questions in the public interest, Andrew Bridgen MP moved over from the Conservative Party to the Reclaim Party, which is excellent. Which means that we now have in that place over there someone who's actually representing the people and their concerns, rather than the concerns of the establishment and protecting it through politics. Now, Andrew Bridgen, I don't know if he actually got to do a question today, but he was going to stand up and ask about why the government are allowing the social transitioning of children through use of pronouns and setting them on an irreversible path towards puberty blockers, sterility, osteoporosis, and ultimately mutilation of their bodies. And I'm not sure whether we got to ask that question. But look, we need to make sure that politics is utterly removed from our schools. It does not belong in our schools. There's no place for politics in our schools. No place for the indoctrination of children. No place for it. Children need to be taught how to think in their own unique and wonderful and special ways, not to be frightened by this dreadful ideology of gender ideology and critical race theories and contested theories that are taught to our children as facts. We need to reclaim our schools. We need to get rid of these months. We need to get rid of history months. We need to get rid of pride months. We're all sovereign and unique individuals. Right. There is no such thing as black history. There's just history. There's no such thing as pride. Pride is a sin, by the way, in case anyone noticed. So we polled recently parents, and 70% of parents don't know what their kids are being taught. They don't have lesson plans for RSE, they don't have lesson plans for PSHE, they don't know the divisive stuff. But when you tell them, 70% of those parents come back at you and they're horrified. So all we can do every single day is stand up and speak about this stuff, because we've got an entire generation to save. And this problem with absolute captured institutions in this country by these woke ideologues will only change when we get the next generation and we give them their lives back, and we stop them being terrified of the sun monster, terrified of being existing and thinking like they're viruses on this planet. They're not. They're the hope and they're the future. We need to get behind them. So thank you all for coming, and it's lovely to see you all.
Thank you, Laurence, for that's an absolute amazing speech. Another round of applause for Laurence, please. It is so good to see so many people doing good for humanity. There's so much evil in this world. We need to come together, especially on this issue. So, Laurence Fox, we've got another brilliant speaker coming up next, and that is Rebecca Manning. So, woo! So Rebecca Manning she leads her own group, her own organisation, Too Much, Too Young, and she started this about a year ago. She said she's been inspired by the work by us, Public Child Protection Wales, and wanted to do something similar in England with regards to the awareness with what's going on in the English schools. She's doing extremely well. She's got a good following. She's raising a lot of awareness, and she's done a couple of fundraising events for our fundraiser as well. So we're very grateful for the likes of Rebecca. She's going to do an amazing talk now with regards to the showman's old-fashioned way of teaching. And she's also going to be talking about the changes that she has noticed over the last 30 years. So this is going to be a great speech. So can we just have a massive hand for Rebecca?
Woo! Thank you. Thanks, Lucia. Right, hello everyone. Thanks everyone for coming. I've got a few people come to support me today, so thanks for those who took their time to come today and help us do this fight against this terrible RSE for the children. So yes, as Lucia said, we've been doing the Too Much Too Young Facebook group. There's our banner down there if anyone wants to scan the QR code and join us. We're doing the best we can to unite people against this important cause. There have been speakers here today much more qualified than I am to speak on the curriculum and the devastating effect we believe it will have on our children. So I'm going to stick to a subject I consider myself an expert in: children. I'm very privileged to have been born into our country's wonderful showman community. We're the families, for those of you who don't know, who own and run the rides and attractions that many of you will have enjoyed at outdoors events and festivals and fairgrounds all across the country. The vast majority of us follow in the footsteps of our parents and their parents, going back, right back to the invention of rides itself. We're a kind of semi-hidden community in the UK of about 20,000 people who have managed in this ever-changing world we've been living in to hang on to our many traditional values. Because of our smaller community in a community, that means we all know each other or know of each other. Reputations stick of any type, and this has a way of keeping you on a good moral path. I expect many communities in the country would have been like it once upon a time, and I hope that many still are. This gives me a fairly unique perspective in two ways. Firstly, and most importantly, I can observe the effects that society and the sex education we've had so far in schools have had on the wider population compared to our children, whom we have mostly withdrawn from these lessons up until recent times when it's all changed. Showmen are very private people when it comes to personal matters. The sex education that has been given in schools, even before it recently got a lot worse, goes against everything we believe in. Our children are brought up with very high moral standards and respect. Reproduction of males and females is not discussed with our children until we feel the time is right. We like our children to remain children for as long as possible.
Yes.
Yes.
We firmly believe that the parents are the only people that will know when their individual child will be ready to know about these things. In our community, thank you. In our community, the mother is usually the main person to have these discussions with girls. This wouldn't usually happen in front of any males, and the father with the boys, privately also. We rarely have children out of wedlock. We have long and successful marriages, low divorce rates, very few teenage mums and no abandoned children. We're very accepting people generally, perhaps due to the prejudice we sometimes face ourselves. And we were in fact ahead in the equality stakes because women have worked alongside their men in our industry long before it was the done thing in normal communities. In fact, our women are often better educated than our men, doing the majority of written or paperwork. But not to say the men are stupid though, because I've got a few here today. Far from it. We send our children to school for English and mathematics and to learn to socialise outside our own community. Not to have their heads filled with too much delicate information far too young. And no offence to anyone, but we can see the way general society is heading and we don't want it for our children. To our great surprise, we found that many other people didn't want it either. And that's why we're all here today, together, uniting the kingdom for all of our children. I've also had a unique opportunity to observe children all my life. Since I married at 22, my husband and I have toured our vintage fairground rides around the country at large outdoor events. Children are my customers. And for nearly 30 years I have served and observed them at many of the same events as we attended in our early marriage. I serve people from all demographics and all backgrounds, and I don't like the changes that I am seeing in our country's children. Compared to 20 years ago, they're less agile, they struggle now to jump up into swing seats, they're less happy, there are children crying and having meltdowns everywhere, they're less polite and more entitled. There are far too many children who you can tell have never heard the word no in their entire life. The newest development is children are conditioned to use card payment, which I find very scary. They also can't seem to add up cash or work out change anymore. even at secondary level. They have no awareness of their own surroundings or safety anymore, no common sense. I'll try to explain it like this. 20 years ago, a showman took a selection of rides to a different country, outside of Europe, to operate them. I'm naming no country so as not to cause offence. When he got there, he was told he would have to fence all his rides in with a gate. He inquired why, as he had never needed to do this here. He was told the people are quite stupid and they run into moving things. He was shocked. Customers here, even children at the time, had the sense not to run into moving things. If you do it once, you only do it once, and mine happened to not be a fair ride, but one of them long park swings that we used to have when I was a kid. But now here we are, only 20 years later, and we now have to fence in all of our rides. Obviously I'm generalising, and there are lovely sensible children all over the country, but it's the trend I'm seeing and I don't like it one bit. I'm not laying all of this at the door of schools, not by any means. We all realise by now that it's much bigger than that, but they have played a very big part over my lifetime. That's the damage so far. And as for the damage this new curriculum will most likely do, I really don't want to witness it. And I will not have it forced on me or mine. Being part of a large community also means I've been around for the upbringing of many, many children. Not only younger sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews, but also all the children from our close-knit community. I've 2 children of my own I've brought to adulthood and a third nearly there. I understand how children's minds work, and that's why I'm so appalled at this curriculum, especially the damaging gender ideology that's being presented to open, innocent, perfect, non-judging little minds as fact. The information overload is damaging children as we watch, unable to do anything much, silenced, ignored. The willful destruction of innocence is hard to witness once you see it for what it is. But not for much longer. The momentum is building thanks to some wonderful, hard-working, everyday normal people. That is not, the word is spreading now, the word is now spreading. It's not misinformation, it's not age appropriate, and we do not consent. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, well done, love.
Well done, Rebecca. Can we continue that round of applause, please, for Rebecca? Woo!